It's like 4:30 in the afternoon, and I haven't talked about anything yet today because I spent the majority of the day actually dealing with a ton of customers, which is kind of nice. But I've also not really eaten anything, and I don't know where my keys are. Can I get 2 of those? And can I borrow your bottle of hot sauce?
Never.
Just on
Yes, please. Be liberal with it. I made the mistake of getting pizza at 4:30 in the afternoon in Halifax, and the roof of my mouth, I think, is cut.
So my entire life, I did ride freestyle BMX. It was kind of all I did. I used that bike to get everywhere. I was hoping I'd be a professional BMXer, but things didn't really work out that way. The thing about BMX is it taught me a lot of really awesome bike handling skills. I'll never regret the fact that I rode BMX my entire life. If you're into it, stick with it, because you make a lifetime worth of friends. You always stay fit. You don't necessarily stay out of trouble, but the trouble you get into is probably better than some of the trouble that other kids have gotten in. It also gave me a way to get around really easy. I was super independent my entire life because all I did was use my BMX bike to actually get me all around town. So I'm eternally grateful to the world of BMX, and I'll always have a BMX for that reason. But in 2009, when I graduated high school, I moved to Halifax from my hometown in New Brunswick and needed a slightly more efficient way to get around because the ride was a little bit longer. And I ended up getting a really, really cheap single speed from a friend of mine from my hometown. And I would use that thing every day. It got to the point where I wanted to upgrade that bike to look cooler. And with that, I had a bike that I liked the look of more. So I would go ride for less and less of a commuter style reason, until it got to the point where I was actually just going for bike rides for no real reason. My interest grew significantly more, and I learned a little bit more about brands that were kind of neat to have, and I built my first real steel fixed gear. I dabbled into that a little while until I got to the point where I wanted to do some road racing. Even an entry-level bike costs... That's just to get you through the door. I mean, I was terrible with my money, I still am. There was no way that I was going to have like $1,100 sitting around to get me into a bike, let alone all the stuff that I needed to go along with it. That wasn't gonna happen for me. There was almost never a time in those years where I probably had more than $200 in my bank account at any given time. So I waited a long time, probably had like a 2-year wait before I was actually even able to consider it. And what I decided to do that would probably be the most efficient way for me to get into the sport was to build something from an older bike. And when I mean older bike, I mean an old steel CCM piece of garbage. It had 27-inch wheels. I bought it for $50, and I bought a more modern group set and some more modern wheels for another $300, and threw together this haphazard, disgusting mishmash of parts. But I was on the road. I was riding a bike that had some modern stuff on it, and to me looked cool. I rode that for a little while until I found out about a website that sold parts for super cheap, and I bought myself a new frame. And with that, I had a real road bike. I actually ended up racing cyclocross on that road bike, and from there, things have kind of snowballed almost completely out of control to the point where I've got 8 bikes now. So, I'm not really sure what the takeaway of a story like that is, but it's kind of fun for me to revisit some of my history of how I got into this world of racing and riding all these different bikes. And with that, I think we'll call it. I think we'll call this episode.